Yo, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm very pleased to announce the release of my new product, the HaloRC Pandora control. So what we have here is actually a DJI Inspire 2 controller that I've decased, removed the gimbals and the buttons and the controls, and I've managed to create a little custom PCB that's able to emulate the gimbals and the controls so that the master controller is happy. When you remove the gimbals, the alarm goes off, because the gimbals aren't calibrated and sitting in the center because we've removed them. So I had to create this little emulation board that pipes in the gimbal signal that the master controller expects so that it keeps it happy and keeps all the sticks in the center. I've also managed to emulate the buttons and all the control surfaces so that the master controller is happy and we can actually control all those surfaces over an Express LRS link or a TBS Crossfire link. So just like my last product, the Master Link, you can control the Pandora V2 or V1 or any DJI Inspire 2 gimbal just using a regular controller and connecting over Crossfire or ELRS. The Pandora control has got the Master Link built into it, so it works exactly the same as the Master Link in the way that you arm it and control it. It's also got the companion app that you also use for setting up. So once it's all set up and you've got your Pandora control bound to your chosen transmitter, it allows you to connect to your Pandora or your DJI Inspire 2 gimbal, and you can control the gimbal and the camera just using your regular transmitter. So you might ask, why would you want to take the controller apart and put it into a different box like this and remove all the control surfaces? If I spin this around here, I'll show you that this is the main reason. So the Pandora control allows you to fit different antennas to the master controller. So unlike using a regular controller where you're bound to using these antennas both on the controller side and on your Pandora V2 for the best signal, the master controller allows you to fit various different polarizations, such as left-hand circular polarized or right-hand circular polarized, and that just has a lot better noise rejection. So you get better quality signal out of the master controller from the Pandora. Obviously fitting patch antennas is the best way to go on the Pandora control. Using higher gain patch antennas and pointing the system at your area that you're going to be filming in will just give you the maximum coverage and the best possible signal you can get. In my tests later on, you'll see how on 5.8 you get easily double the range that you would normally, and by using various 2.4 gigahertz patches where the Pandora is using its maximum output power, that's where you're going to see the biggest range, and you can get some really big really high gain 2.4 patches that I'll show you later on in the video as well. And yeah, it just means that you can keep a much stronger connection between the master controller and the Pandora, and the better the connection is, the better the quality the video feed is and the lowest latency possible. As you can see, I've got this mounted on a tripod. It's got 1/4 mounting holes in the bottom and extra holes so that you could go in from the other side and mount cheese plates or all sorts of different mounts. So you shouldn't have any issues with mounting it to a tripod like I have here. Then moving on to the top plate, I have managed to incorporate the original Crystal Sky monitor mount. You can also use the phone or tablet holder mount. This allows you to really nicely fit a Crystal Sky monitor to the top, like that. So you've got your full ground station set up there with viewing capabilities. Now you could then take the HDMI out of here and either control the gimbal and the camera using the HDMI feed, or you could send it out over a video transmitter such as the DJI SDR and use this as more of a relay station, but with the addition of having really stable connection by using the patch antennas and matched polarization with your camera. So fitted inside the Pandora control is the original controller battery. There was no point messing around with trying to change this. It's a really nice big size battery that makes the controller last for a long time without recharging, and the whole unit already had its charging circuit in. So you just charge it like you would a normal controller. All the lights come on to tell you how charged the battery is, etc. And yeah, the low battery alarm will sound like normal as well. So yeah, charging and running, you get really long run times, potentially longer run times than the official controller, simply because you won't be using the Wi-Fi link. So if you're used to using two controllers, a master controller and a slave controller, the slave controller connects to the master controller over a Wi-Fi link. That's for sending your control signals and for getting the video feed through. The Pandora control removes all the Wi-Fi capabilities, so you don't use a slave controller, because the onboard master slave takes care of controlling the gimbal and the camera, and then you just get the feed straight out of HDMI or USB, like I have here. So it completely eliminates the need of using a slave controller. The only thing you have to use alongside this is your chosen transmitter. Now, I've been able to make the system work with both Express LRS or Crossfire. If you're going to be using Crossfire, this will be a much bigger antenna, because 868 or 915 megahertz uses much bigger antennas. Honestly, I can't recommend using Express LRS enough. The rate at which the transmission happens is so much faster than Crossfire. It just means that the latency is significantly lower. So highly recommend using Express LRS, but for all you Crossfire lovers out there, you can get the kit available with Crossfire. Right, so I've been working on this for about a year now, and yeah, during my development of it, I did record a few little clips. So I'm going to head over to the bench and I'm going to show you the various iterations of the Pandora control over the last year or so, and then we can head out into the field and I can show you what it can do. Okay, so this is my first attempt at a naked Inspire 2 controller, and it's literally just the main board, the HDMI board and the battery. And from that you're able to plug in MMCX to SMA connectors. These would obviously come out of this top plate here, and then you can connect higher gain antennas and get better reception from the main controller. It works fine, and just removing the gimbals and all the buttons and everything, it still powers up and actually functions, but the alarm constantly goes off because it thinks that the gimbals need to be calibrated. So you have to break off or desolder the buzzer, otherwise you just have an annoying beep the whole time. But it does work. The only issue I found is that when you take control of the gimbal with the master controller, the resting voltage on the pins means that the gimbal's always moving down, so it's not really ideal. So I decided to go one step further and create this board, which allows me to control the gimbals and all the buttons by using a few of these components. So it's powered by an ESP32, and you can connect an ELRS or Crossfire receiver, and you can send stick commands and button commands into the ESP32, and it turns those into DJI gimbal or button controls, and all these JST connectors all plug into this main board where the gimbal's unplugged from, and that allows you to have complete control over the controller using your own controller. Or you can actually control all the surfaces using Bluetooth and an app that I've been working on. So that's working pretty well, and to make that work I've had to get rid of that case, and I've had to design this much bigger case because it's got to hold an extra board and my extra board in order to have full complete control over the controller. And I've also moved the SMAs down into the main body so that it's a lot easier to put together, because having those SMAs coming out the top was really awkward before. But as I'm going to be taking this one apart, I just wanted to get some footage of it before I took it all apart. Okay, so here we have my V2 naked controller, like I showed you the case in the previous clip. So built all this one up, and it gave me full control over the master controller. So I was able to control the gimbal inputs, all the buttons and the dials and everything. But then I was playing around with the controller and prodding and poking it and trying to work out what else I could do. And then I realized that I could tap into the CAN bus port and actually act like a slave controller was connected. And that gave me full control over the gimbal and the camera, which you don't normally get from the main controller. So I revised my PCB and I kept the case the same, but I was able to make some modifications, and I added this little cable here, and that was able to plug into there. And over Express LRS, I was then able to have full control over the main controller and full control as a slave controller as well. So I had full control over the gimbal, all the camera and everything, all from one connected Express LRS controller or a Crossfire controller. So after I learned that I could do that, I realized the only thing that the Wi-Fi was good for was for transmitting the video over to the slave controller. So I tested removing the whole Wi-Fi thing, and the whole controller still works perfectly without any Wi-Fi thing. And the Wi-Fi creates a lot of heat. It has two antennas and a big heat sink and a fan and everything. So by being able to remove that, I was able to redesign my PCB so that it fitted just where the Wi-Fi board was, and that's enabled me to go back to a slightly smaller case, which I have here. And yeah, I just wanted to show you this. Like the last time, I wanted to show you this before I took it apart. Okay, so here we have a freshly built Pandora controller. And the first thing you're going to need to do when you turn it on is calibrate the sticks. Because we've removed the gimbals and replaced it with emulated gimbals, we need to run the calibration in the DJI app. So I'm going to show you how that works now. Okay, so when you first power it up, it's going to beep because the gimbals are not in the center. So we're going to use the Android app here. It is available on iOS as well. You can see that it's for the Blackmagic camera, but it is also compatible with all the devices that I make. So if we scan now, we can find the Pandora controller. Once we connect to that, you can see all the setup. But we're just going to go into remote controller calibration, and you can see how the sticks are off, like 10% up on that one. So we're just going to hit calibrate, center both stick, blah blah blah, hit start. Then in the app we're going to click trigger calibration, and you can see it starts moving all the sticks and the dial in all the directions, and we'll then return to the center. So you hit done, and now it's no longer beeping. And you can double check that it's working because all of these are on 0, and if you hit trigger calibration again, you can see that it just moves all the sticks and the dials to the extremes and then returns to 0. So that's how you calibrate the gimbals on the Pandora control. Okay, so coming up next is going to be quite a lot of footage of me testing the Pandora control and testing the range and comparing it to a standard Inspire 2 with a standard Inspire 2 controller, and yeah, comparing the range with the Pandora and the Pandora control. So it's quite a long video and a lot of you might find it quite boring, so feel free to skip past it, because after all the video of the tests, I'm just going to do a little bit of a results overview and explain a couple of things that went on during the tests. So yeah, skip ahead if you can't be bothered to watch all this, basically. Yo, so we're out here in the field doing a bit of testing at my house, and yeah, I wanted to really put the Inspire 2 and the Pandora and the new Pandora controller all through a bit of a range test. So to get a bit of a baseline, I figured I should start by using a normal Inspire 2 with the regular controller and testing the range. Now, testing range is obviously going to be pretty difficult unless you've got loads and loads of room to go miles and test line of sight. So what I'm doing here is I've come over, and at the back of my garden here, you can see there's this wood, bit of a woodland area. Can't really call it a forest or anything. And yeah, I've set up this pallet on the wall here, and I've got the Inspire 2 set up on it. And what I've been doing is going out through the gap there and across the field. So my thought process being that these trees will block a lot of the signal, so I won't have to go as far to reach the extremes of the range. And then I'll be able to test the Pandora with the Pandora controller and different antennas and see which one performs best. I've put it up on the wall here because I know that the antennas are inside the arms, so I didn't want to put it down here on the floor where it would be really blocked and unfair. So to match the Pandora, I've kind of put it up on this crate, and I've been swapping out the Inspire 2 with the Pandora and testing different antennas. So yeah, I'm going to show you now what sort of range I can get on the Inspire 2 with the original controller. I'm just going to get that all plugged in and connected, and yeah, head out across the field and show you what sort of range I get. Right, so I'm out here now. Got the drone set up through the woods on the other side there, just through that little gap there. And yeah, I'm just checking how far away I can get on 5.8. So, and then I'll be testing 2.4 as well. Okay, so you can see at this point on my screen recording, hopefully, that the signal just keeps dropping quite a lot. It's like at 2 bars right now, and goes up like between 2 and 4 bars. So what I've done is I've put a little cone down on the floor here as a marker to show where the signal starts dropping. Then what I'm going to do now is, because 2.4 has got higher output power here in the UK, I'm going to switch to 2.4 and walk down the end of the field down that way and see how far I can get before any of the bars drop. So yeah, I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I'm down at the end of the field now. As you can see, 2.4 I still get full bars just with the standard controller. Yeah, so testing 2.4 is quite difficult because you need so much more range or something more to block it. So yeah, really right down the end of the field here is as far as I can get at the moment with this. Here's my blue marker. So I think when I was testing before, I was only getting to about here before 2.4 was dropping off. But yeah, okay, so I'm going to swap to Pandora now. Hopefully it'll be easier to hold. Okay, so now that I've tested the Inspire 2, the regular controller, to get a bit of a control results to compare the Pandora to, I'm now out in the field testing my Pandora with my Pandora controller. So you'll notice that my Pandora has actually only got 2 antennas attached, and that's because during my testing I found that really 2 of them are for receive only, and 2 of them are receive and transmit. So really, you only need to... I've done testing with 2 and using 4, and it doesn't really seem to make a whole lot of difference if you have the antennas all close to each other. You could maybe get slightly better signal if you extended off of these and had some antennas further away from the camera. That might improve it, but certainly when they're all next to each other, it doesn't seem to make much difference whether you use 2 or 4. 2 are obviously easier to hide and deal with, and I've even found that you can get away with using these stubby ones. These are true RC dualities, and they're designed for DJI goggles really, but that means that they do 2.4 and 5.8, so you can switch between 2.4 and 5.8 on the system and not have to change the antennas. When it comes to the antennas on my Pandora controller, these are 5.8 patches, Pico patches by Menace RC, and they're left and circular polarized, the same as these. I see these 2 work really well together. When you switch to 2.4, you will have to change the patch antennas to 2.4 versions. They do sell one called the Numbskull that you could get, and later on I'll show you the ones that I've been testing with from a UK company called Flytron, and they're really high gain 2.4 gig antennas. So right now I'm just going to power all this up, get it all connected and ready to go, and then head out across the field and show you how far I can get by using 5.8 on patch antennas, circular polarized. Okay, so I'm out in the field now with my Pandora controller, the patches on. Just looking for where that white cone is. Oh, here we go. So I'm at the white cone now, and you can see on the screen that it's 5.8 and full signal. That's probably not showing up, that's why I'm doing screen recording. So now we're just going to walk back across the field and see how it degrades. I'm actually looking at the screen to see what the signal's like. Let's have a quick check. Okay, so still full bars, and I'm at the blue marker. So let's see if I can get full bars at the back of the field on 5.8 and match 2.4 performance of the i2. Starting. Okay, I'm at the back of the field now, and I have dropped 1 bar. So honestly, on previous attempts I was dropping 1 bar back here with 2.4, but on that test when I filmed it, of course, it looked like I just had full bars all the time. And this is jumping between 4, 5 bars now, so full bars now. So if you had this up on a tripod, which is what it's designed to do, you'd set that in a nice perfect position so it's pointing directly at your camera. So you'd get full nice signal all the time. 4 bars all the way back here, it's about double the range of what the standard controller can do with an i2. So yeah, much improved signal range on 5.8, and obviously if you put some higher gain antennas on, you'd get even better range. And yeah, 2.4 with its higher output power with high gain antennas, that's how you're going to absolutely maximize the system. So that's what I'm going to head back and set up for now. Okay, so to carry out the 2.4 test, I'm going to be using the same duality stubby antennas, but I'm going to be running the Pandora in 2.4 gigahertz mode. And on my controller side, I'm going to be running 2.4 gigahertz patches. Like I said earlier, I've got these ones from Flytron, and yeah, these are super high gain 2.4 gigahertz left-hand circular polarized patch antennas. They provide a really wide beam, so you can turn the controller quite far away from where the action is and it'll still pick them up. Obviously it's better if you can pick up the signal with both antennas at the same time, because the beam is so wide they cross over really nicely in the middle there by me providing these angles. Okay, so I've done a hell of a lot of testing now. Unfortunately the 2.4 gigahertz testing was just I just haven't got the space to do it properly. I did try to carry out a couple of tests, but where I am here, I'm in a valley, so I just keep having to go over hills, and when you put a hill in between you and the Pandora, there's not really much that can handle that, so the signal drops quite a bit. Really the longest distance I can do where it's not going over a hill is where I've been doing it out the back. So taking a look at this satellite overview now, you can see that I've got the Pandora set up quite close to my house, and then the line extends out. The 100 meter mark is the white marker. That's where the Inspire 2 and the standard controller was managing to get to on 5.8, and the 200 meter marker is where they were getting to on 2.4 with 1 or 2 bars dropping. Now, the output power of the Inspire 2 on 5.8 is only 25 milliwatts, but on 2.4 it's 50 milliwatts, so the range is consistent with that really. When switching to the Pandora control and the Pandora and using the patch antennas, on 5.8 I'll be able to blow way past the Inspire 2's result of 100 meters, and I could get all the way down to the 200 meter mark and still have full signal, and that really is the best result to look at. It clearly shows how much better it is to use matching antennas that are circular polarized and using patch antennas on the controller side. It just massively extends your range with the small 25 milliwatt output power that we've got. When bumping it up to 2.4 gigahertz and using 50 milliwatts of power, and also then using much higher gain 2.4 patches on my Pandora control, I was just never really able to get the signal to drop down the end of the field. The one thing I was able to test that I don't show in the video is that I was able to turn the Pandora control really quite far away from where the Pandora was sat, and it was able to retain really good signal. So obviously for the maximum quality and the best signal possible, you're going to be wanting to run 2.4 gigahertz with 2.4 gigahertz patches. That's going to be the highest output power, and the higher gain patch antennas you use, the better, the more likely they are to retain the signal and punch through trees and bushes like I have been doing in my tests. Okay, so hopefully you like what I've come up with, and yeah, I'm really I'm really certain that the Pandora control is going to make using the Pandora or any DJI Inspire 2 setup just a lot better. The number one complaint is always the link quality and how it breaks up a bit too easily. Now, we are limited by the output power of the Inspire 2. You can't increase that so much. But what we can do by using the Pandora control is run matched high gain antennas, which really drastically improves the signal quality, and you get far better range and penetration than you would using the standard system. So if you've got any questions or comments, leave them down below. In the video description there are links to go and purchase this on the HaloRC website. And yeah, until the next one, laters.